for a true bill is 12. Per Georgia law, this is a secret vote. Only the grand jurors are present when they vote. The results of the vote are unknown to anyone except the grand jury until the returns are presented to a Superior Court judge in open court. The following evidence was presented to the February 2023 term grand jury. Are we up and ready to go? Okay. On November 21st, 2022, at approximately 11 a.m., Officer Stevens was dispatched on a property check after the Clayton County Police Department received a call from Rome Police Department informing them that a 2014 Kia Optima, beige in color, which was stolen from Rome the previous evening, had been electronically tracked to Commerce Road. Officer Stevens responded to that general area and saw a vehicle matching the general description of the stolen vehicle. Officer Stevens called Rome PD per dispatch instructions to confirm. Right. During the call, Officer Stevens is advised by Rome PD to be careful because the firearm that was inside the vehicle when it was stolen had not been recovered.
It got Sucker Mall sticker on it, and it does have like a Rome sticker. Okay, yeah, I got it. It's right here. I'm actually about to run it on DC. I have run it. I'm gonna run it, and then I'll check it off DC. I see that it has it towed, and then y'all can just pick it up from my store. But I think I do have it. It got a temporary tag on it.
After verifying the vehicle identification number, Officer Stevens returned to his marked patrol vehicle to begin the process of further confirming the vehicle and having the vehicle impounded. As Officer Stevens was completing reports and waiting for the tow truck to arrive, a man who was later identified as Eric Holmes walked up to Officer Stevens' patrol vehicle and engaged in a cordial conversation about the police being posted up to catch speeders and inquiring about becoming a police officer.
What's up? Yeah, we good. Okay. Yeah, we good. We good. Okay, oh, no, you're straight. All right. Yeah, I can't call. How are you? Yeah. You 21? You gotta be 21. Yeah, how old are you? Okay, yeah, you gotta be 21. No. Yeah, now we good.
Towards the end of that conversation, Mr. Holmes asked Officer Stevens for advice about Kias and stated that parts of his window had been popped. Officer Stevens asked Mr. Holmes where his vehicle is, and Mr. Holmes identified the stolen vehicle as his. When questioned further, Mr. Holmes stated he purchased the vehicle from someone and received a bill of sale. When Officer Stevens asked if he had the bill of sale, Mr. Holmes replied, no.
Now, yeah, you good.
Officer Stevens testified at that point Mr. Holmes walked away from his patrol vehicle towards the stolen vehicle. As Officer Stevens exited his vehicle, Mr. Holmes entered the Kia Optima. In the following 12 seconds, Officer Stevens approached the vehicle with his service weapon drawn and gave verbal commands for Mr. Holmes to put his hands up and repeatedly ordered him to step out of the car. After Mr. Holmes failed to comply and started the vehicle, Officer Stevens attempted to push the driver door open wider and got a slight grip on Mr. Holmes' left sleeve using his left hand. At this point, Mr. Holmes' right hand, which had been on the steering wheel, moved away from the steering wheel towards an area where Officer Stevens testified he could see a multicolored firearm from his vantage point. Officer Stevens simultaneously lost his grip on Mr. Holmes' shirt and discharged his service weapon as Mr. Holmes accelerated and sped away. Officer Stevens radioed shots fired and returned to his patrol vehicle to pursue Mr. Holmes. Officer Stevens located the vehicle in a ditch on the left side of the road a short distance away. He ordered Mr. Holmes to put his hands up and to get out of the car. Officer Stevens testified Mr. Holmes put his hands up but did not exit the vehicle. When Officer Stevens approached, he realized that Mr. Holmes had been wounded, so he radioed for emergency assistance and attempted to render aid. Out of respect for the family of Mr. Holmes, we will play only the audio portion from this portion of the video. So when he makes contact with Mr. Holmes, it will only be the audio portion. Officer Stevens After the presentation of all evidence, testimony from the GBI agent regarding his full investigation, testimony from Officer Stevens, cross-examination of Officer Stevens by the prosecutor, viewing the video from Officer Stevens' body-worn camera, crime scene photos that included the stolen firearm on the floor of the Kia Optima, as well as the firearm described as multicolored by Officer Stevens on the gear shift of the Kia Optima, and questions from the grand jurors of all witnesses, the grand jury voted and returned a no bill. My office met with all appropriate parties to notify them of the no bill. To determine whether this case should be presented to a subsequent grand jury, I met with my chief assistants, both seated over there, reviewed the grand jury transcript, and directed my investigation division to conduct a follow-up investigation. During the follow-up investigation, the only new evidence obtained was 2 police reports from the Rome Police Department, 1 associated video of a police chase in Rome, and 2 associated videos from the apartment complex in Rome where the Kia Optima was stolen. We determined that the police reports and videos are unrelated to the actions of Officer Stevens and would only disparage the character of Mr. Holmes. Therefore, because the follow-up investigation uncovered no new or conflicting evidence regarding the actions of Officer Stevens, there was no justification to present this case to another grand jury. In conclusion, this case is officially closed, which makes the case file subject to the Open Records Act. Any additional questions may be addressed via an open records request to the appropriate agency. Thank you for your time and have a safe weekend.